Hello, and welcome to the next installment in the Commodore 64 Repair-a-thon on yet another retro channel. This is part 4 of our Repair-a-thon. If you haven't watched parts 1 through 3, I recommend you go ahead and do that. And to make that easier for you, I'm going to stick a link up in the corner. So if you've either already watched those, or when you get back from watching them, let's go ahead and get started with the next machine. This one's a little actually dirtier than some of the others were. There's some dirt down in the grooves here. I'm not seeing any other physical damage on the case. More grime here. Doesn't look like our clasps are fitted properly. I'm not seeing any cable burns or anything like that. We do have a label which says Power Light Black Screen 9516. So we should be looking, when we test this, for a power light but a black screen. Let's go ahead and give it a quick test. Looking up our known good bench power supply and RAV. And we'll switch over to output so you can see what happens. And here we go. We do have the power light. And we do have the black screen with the white line. So, just as specified on the note. We're going to go ahead and open her up. Now, the black screen with the white line is a good indication that our VIC-ii is intact. That's the one chip that I am the most concerned about in these repairs, as those are very expensive to replace right now. And let's see what we've got. Well, we've got a cardboard shield. So most likely this is not a 425 or a 466 or anything like that. This is probably a 407, but we'll take a look in a moment. So we get the top shell off. The keyboard, by the way, looks to be in good shape. All the keys are here. Motion on the keys seems fine. Let's see. This is still soldered together, so there's a decent chance that no one's been in here. And we do indeed have a 407. We have sockets on the CIAs, the CPU, and most likely the VIC, as those are usually socketed. We will pop this open to see. And yes, the VIC is socketed. Let's see what revision of VIC we have here. It is an R8, so that's actually very good. The R8 has good video output. Not great, but good. And we have a lot of bent over components. And it's time to start making some checks. So I'm going to set the multimeter into continuity mode and check the fuse real quick. Should be good. And it is. So let's go ahead and check our voltages. First thing we need to do. And again, with the black screen with the white line, The voltages on the voltage regulators should be good. We'll give them a check. So our 5 volts, 4.96, that's fine. And our 12 volts, 12.1112, that also is fine. Now we'll go ahead and test the 5 volts. Ooh, I was reversed there, but we have 4.1 volts on the user port. That is an indication of something being shorted out, because my power supply does deliver a nice solid 5 volts. So we're going to have to find out what is going on. As I said, there are a lot of bent over components here, and particularly with these little ceramic disc capacitors, that could result in legs touching. So I'm going to unbend them here. The electrolytics are also good possibilities for having legs touching from being bent, so I'm going to unbend those as well. Okay. Not seeing any obvious shorts. I'm also not seeing any obviously bulging or leaking capacitors. Not seeing obvious problems on any of the ICs. What do we have for ICs? We have, looks like Mitsubishi RAM, and one little TI guy right here. I am so far not seeing any MOS logic chips, which is also good news. Okay, I think we should start with testing our socketed chips. So we're going to pull the VIC-ii, the CPU. CPU does not want to come out of there. There we go. And our 2 CIAs. Okay, now the machine obviously won't work like this, but we can retest that voltage and see if any of those chips were likely to short. So our voltage on the user port has gone up. It hasn't gone up all the way. We're at 4.66, 4.67. So one of those chips is likely bad. So we will bring up the ZIF machine and give them a test. Now, it isn't likely to be the VIC-ii because the VIC-ii is isolated from the 5 volts that comes in from the power supply. The VIC-ii is powered by the 12 and 5 volts, 5 and 12 volts that are coming from the regulators generated by the 9 volts. But I will test the VIC-ii anyway, just to be sure. I'm anticipating this to just work. So I'm actually going to bring the output up again. So what do we get? And there it is. Our VIC-2 is working just perfectly. That's good news. Next, we will try the CPU. Is our CPU working? And it is. That's also good news. The bad news is that the fault is now likely in one of the CIAs. Those also are becoming a little pricey to replace. So, we try our first CIA. And our first CIA is working. We're getting a blinking cursor. So we can test that further later, but it's not shorting, at least. Which means our likely candidate is over here. But my guess is it's going to work anyway. And it does. So, as far as we can tell, these 4 chips are all good. Which just makes our task a little harder. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and take this board out of the case so I can get this cardboard shield out of the way. One of the screws is missing, so someone definitely has been in here before. Bye-bye cardboard shield. And now we'll desolder the bottom shield, which is still in place. You would think I would get more efficient at that the more times I've done it, but it's still clunky for me. Bye-bye shield. All right, look at the back of the board. And it looks like the CPU and the 2 CIAs have both been replaced previously. There's flux residue on the board that wasn't cleaned up. I'm not seeing anything around the RAM. PLA and the SID are untouched, and the VIC-2. So we have had some rework done here, but it obviously didn't solve the problem. Now, that being the case, we actually could have some bad solder joints on the rework that could be a problem. So I'm going to take a closer look with the magnifier, see if I see anything. Well, honestly, some of those are weak. They're not visibly bad, but they're not great. Plus, those are single wipe sockets. I am very tempted to replace at least the CPU socket. But for now, I think I'm just going to give them a little reflow. Maybe add a little extra solder. If nothing else there, we should have just made it easier to desolder that socket if that becomes necessary by flowing some fresh new solder. And I want to check over my work. Before I do something stupid like leaving a bridge, which I did. Okay, no more bridge. Okay. The vic-ii back in. The CPU back in. And let's use dead test. Since we don't need the CIAs for dead test, we'll leave them out. The only things we do need are the CPU, the PLA, and the vic-ii. So, what does dead test show? All right, black screen and nothing else. So, let's do a little probing. We still have to check reset and the clock for the basics. So reset on the 6510 is pin 40. Now this should stay low for a moment and then go high, which it does. Okay, so our reset signal is good. Our clock 50N is pin 1. And on pin 1, we are getting a 1.02 megahertz clock. So, now the level, it's only a little over 2 volts, but that should be enough. So we have reset and we have clock. Let's check some of the signals on the PLA. That's the character generator. Select. Now there's nothing going on with that right now because there's no screen, so maybe that's normal. High RAM, low RAM, CAS. There's activity on CAS, that's good. ROM high, nothing there. ROM low, nothing there. IO, oh, that's floating. That's not going to be great. GR/W, I'm not even sure what that is. This should be ground, and it is. This should be 5 volts, and it's almost 5 volts. AEC has activity, that's good. Read write, nothing. XROM, nothing. Game, ground. Output enable, which is active low. It's active all the time. CAS/RAM has activity. Basic. Basic is active low and it's always active. That's not good. Kernel. Yeah. Character ROM. Okay. So our ROMs aren't being selected, which could indicate that we have a bad PLA. Or they're being selected all the time, kind of. So, since it's such a common suspect anyway, and it's pretty warm, I think we're going to pull and socket the PLA. Sounds like a good idea. And has that done the job? Yes, it has. So, here's our PLA. Let's give it a quick test in the ZIF board to see what happens. Now, if the PLA is good, we should boot to BASIC. And we get a black screen. So, this PLA is definitely bad. Well, almost definitely. Let's try reseating it just to be on the safe side. Anything this time? Nope, still a black screen. That PLA is bad. Not a surprise, almost all of them are. Now, just a quick sanity check with the PLA out of the board. We won't see anything, but I won't see anything on the screen, but let's go ahead and check our voltages again at the user port and see if they've gotten any better. 4.5, so not better. We've still got a problem, most likely. Well, let's get a socket in here and get a new PLA in, and we can see where we go from there. Okay. New PLA. Try dead test now. Again, we have the CIAs out, but that doesn't matter for dead test. What do we get? We're still black screen. So, let's leave that on for a minute. Check the ROMs. They're a good suspect for shorting. Let's just leave that on for a minute. See what those chips look like. I have 30.5 on basic, 31.6 on kernel, holding. 31.4 on character. The SID is 42 degrees. The SID might be the issue. Let's check our RAMs. 3.2, 3.0, 3.1, 3.1, 3.2, 3.4, 3.7, 3.7. Oh, RAM are not showing signs of shorting. ROMs 30.9, 32.4 for the kernel. .32 for character. The SID is up to almost 45, up to over 45 degrees. Okay. I'm going to play a hunch that the problem may be the SID. And the SID also isn't necessary for dead tests, so I can simply remove it. And then test without it in, and of course test it in the ZIF machine. Okay, did we get the SID out? There we go. Okay, with the SID out, what do we get on dead test? Probably nothing. I probably did that for completely no reason. Nope, still black screen, so that didn't help. Let's go ahead and test the SID in the ZIF machine. Put in dead test so we get some sound. Okay, let's give this a shot with the suspect SID in the ZIF machine with the dead test. So the SID is not killing the machine, it's not shorted out. It is, however, bad. Okay. I'm still getting hot. So, another dead SID. So let's get a socket in there. actually leave the SID out for now. And we'll move on to looking at some signals. See that guy behind me? The one working at warp speed? Yeah, he made one of his trademark stupid mistakes a few minutes ago. He doesn't know it yet. It'd be really foolish to keep working that hard if he already knew what the problem was. You, on the other hand, probably saw it right away, and you're either screaming at your screen or laughing your ass off, or both. He won't figure it out for about another 4 hours real time. In the meantime, he's going to chase some imaginary short circuits on a couple of the address lines all over this circuit board. It's all pointless. He'll desolder another 5 ICs, checking each one, finding out that each one is still working. He'll fully trace out the path of one of the address bits all over the circuit board looking for anything that could be causing the short. And he'll spend lots of time poring over schematics and data sheets, all for nothing. But I'm not cruel. I won't make you watch all that. We'll just use our magic time machine and zip ahead and let you watch him realize how much of a fool he's been. Again. Hey, I can say that. Painful as it may be to admit, he's me. So, here we go. The address lines are still showing messed up on the board. There's only a few chips. Oh no. Oh boy. I have been chasing my tail for no reason. Oh, guys, get ready to laugh hysterically at me. I'm making one of my stupid mistakes. This is a CIA. This is the CPU. I have had the wrong chip in this board the whole time. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, well. Okay. Well, I have to get some sockets installed so I can put everything back in. But I bet we'll be working at that point. Everything but the SID, and let's see what happens. Oh, will you look at that. All that tail chasing for nothing. All because I put the wrong chip in the CPU slot. Okay. Dead test. Okay. And now full diagnostics. Okay. User port bad, could be a dirty port. One more time through. Okay, I'm going to restart from scratch just to be sure, but it looks like that might have fixed the problem. Well, alrighty then. Just one last test to run. And that's machine number 5 finally fixed. I think that answers the question that I posed at the beginning of this repair-a-thon, which was, have I improved in the last year? Unfortunately, the answer is a bit of a mixed bag. I think my knowledge of the C64 has improved, and I also believe that my technique has improved, both diagnostic and repair. That's largely due to you folks and the information that you provided me in the comments over the past year. I am really grateful for all of that. Where it falls apart, however, is my continued tendency to make foolish mistakes. That doesn't seem to have improved at all. In all, it took me about 6 hours actual work time to finish number 7, when I should have been done in more like 2. That's no bueno. Fortunately, in this instance, I didn't do any additional damage with my error, but I have in the past, and if I don't improve, I will again. I have got to work on my attention to detail. As I'm recording this, I've actually done the edit on the video so far, and at the moment it's coming in at almost 40 minutes. I debated whether or not to do another machine in this video, but I think unless number 8 is incredibly simple, I'm going to go way too long on the video. So I have decided to end it here. Thank you for watching and for putting up with all my foolish mistakes. I'm trying to learn from them, and hopefully seeing all the fun ways I screw up will help you to not do the same. Keep the comments coming. I really am grateful for all the help you provided me over the last year, and I do really, truly enjoy engaging with this community. Thank you also to those of you who support the channel. I appreciate that more than you know. If you aren't a supporter but would like to become one, you can join the channel by clicking the join button below. You can also support me through Patreon or Ko-Fi. Links for those will be in the description. As a special thank you for supporters, I will be making a supporters only video at the end of the repair-a-thon where we go back and revisit machine number 5, which was the machine that we assume had a massive power supply that blew out all of its ICs. You'll also find links in the description for both my Discord server and my Facebook group, which are just 2 more ways that we can interact with each other and help each other out from time to time. That just leaves it for me to wish you well, thank you again for watching, and invite you back for the next one. Until then, bye.